Alright, so the next thing we need to do, the last thing, is to create our upload PHP file, which is actually going to grab the images for us and move them to our uploads folder. Okay, so let's go ahead and I'm actually going to close out of these. Do I want to save? No. And we want to open up the PHP folder. I'm sorry, PHP file. Alright, so if you don't really know any PHP, that's okay. This is going to be not that long at all. So when you want to type in PHP, you need to create PHP tags. Okay, so this is a opening PHP tag, and this is a closing. So everything in between has to be PHP. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is create a variable. Alright, so just like with JavaScript, we're just going to call it whatever we want. I'm going to call it upload directory. Now with PHP, you need to have these $ in front of your variables. Alright, but otherwise it's pretty much the same. And we're going to set this to obviously the directory that we want our images to go to, which is going to be uploads. Alright, and then the next thing, we're going to create a variable which will hold an array of file extensions that we will accept. Alright, so let's call this allowed extensions, and we're going to set that to an array, which is pretty much the same as if you were using JavaScript. The first one, we'll say JPEG, and also the long version of JPEG, and PNG, and GIF. Okay, so those are the allowed extensions. Alright, so now what we're going to do is create an if statement, and we're going to say if array key exists. If array key exists, which is a function that will check our array keys. In this case, it's going to be our file array, which when you upload image or any kind of file to the browser, it creates a it doesn't create, it puts your files into an array that looks like this, files. Okay, and that's just, it's a super global variable. Alright, so if array key exists, okay, pick, I'm going to call it pick, and then we want to pass in the files array. So we're going to say if array key exists and, alright, so we're going to say and the files array, say pick, okay, files array pick error is equal to 0. Alright, so basically we want to see if the array key exists, pick in the files array, and there's no error. The error is equal to 0. Okay, then what we're going to do is create a variable called pick and set that to files pick. Okay, so then we can use that variable. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do, we're going to say we want to check and see if the image has the allowed extensions, which we defined up here. Alright, so if is not in array, okay, now that's a PHP function. Basically we can specify something and check to see if it's in a certain array. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to use a function that we didn't create yet, which is going to be called getExtension. Alright, so getExtension, and it wants the file name, so now we can use our pick variable, which is basically an array, and we can use the name key. Alright, and I apologize if this is a little confusing. Okay, and then we want to pass in our allowed extension variable. Yeah. Okay, so it's going to search for the extension, and basically if the file that we upload does not have one of these extensions, then that's what we're going to do here. And what we want to do is we're going to call a function that we're going to create, and it's going to be called exit status. Alright, and that's going to pass, we're going to pass in basically a message that says only these files are allowed. Alright, so we'll start off with a string, so we'll say only, and then what we want to do is list out each file extension, and we can do that by imploding the array. So we can make it so that this array turns into a comma separated list of values. Alright, so it'll be JPEG, comma, JPEG, comma, PNG. Alright, we can do that with the implode function. Alright, so let's see. To concatenate in PHP, you use a period. In JavaScript, you would use a plus sign. Okay, so they both do the same thing, they're just different symbols. So we're going to say implode, which is the function that will turn our array into a comma separated list. So it doesn't have to be a comma. That's actually, you specify right here what you want the separating character to be. Alright, so we want it to be a comma. And then the next parameter is the actual array, which is allowed extensions. Okay, and then we're going to concatenate back to text, and we'll say files are allowed. So basically this is just going to give us a string that says only, and then a list of extensions, and then the text files are allowed. Okay, now here what we're going to do, obviously if it is in there, it's going to continue. So what we want to do is move the file to our uploads folder. So we're going to say if move uploaded files, which is a PHP function that can move our files for us, and it's going to take in pick TMP name. Okay, now what this is when you upload a file in a browser and it goes to this super global array, this files array, this is one of the keys, which is TMP name. Alright, so it has a temporary name, and that's going to be the first parameter of this move uploaded files. Alright, now the second parameter is going to be the directory that we want to upload this to. So we're going to say upload dir, and then dot pick pick name. Alright, so basically that's what's going to take care of moving our files to where we want. Alright, so if they are moved, then we're going to say exit status, and we're just going to pass in a message. We'll say your file was uploaded. Alright, so now what we're going to do is create those functions that we need to create. Alright, so these are basically helpers. Okay, so the first one we're going to create is the exit status, which we called here and here, which will basically just return something for us. So we're going to say function exit status, and it's going to take a string, and we will echo, and we want to encode this in JSON. Say array status str, and then exit. Alright, so very simple. We're just actually returning JSON encoded value, and then for the next one is going to be function get extension. Okay, and this is going to take a file name, or just say file, and we're going to say ext is equal to explode. Okay, now explode is the opposite of implode. Up here we took an array and we turned it into a comma separated value of list. Down here we're taking a comma separated value list and turning it into an array. Alright, so, and I say comma separated, but it can be anything. You could just as well put a dash in here or whatever, and it'll separate those array values and use that as the separator. Alright, so here we're going to say dot, because all the extensions will have a dot, and then we just want to put in the file here. Okay, and then we're going to go on and say extension equals array pop extension. And what array pop does, it basically pops and returns the last value of the array off. Alright, so for the next line, and I apologize for this cursor. Sometimes it does this in the virtual machine for some reason. I'm not sure why. But anyway, next we're going to just return str lower, so string to lower, which is a PHP function which will make it lowercase, and extension. Alright, so basically up here when we called this get extension, we want to get the extension of the file that was uploaded, alright, and then we're just comparing it to the allowed extensions array. Okay, so that's essentially what's going on. If you don't understand this and you don't really use PHP, I know it can be a little tough to understand, but basically it's just when you upload a file, it goes into a files array, which has a bunch of different properties that you can use. One of them is temporary name, which is the temporary name. It also has, for instance, file size. You can get the properties of that file, all right, through this array, and that's what we're doing here. All right, so let's save this. I'm sure we'll have to do a little debugging. If we reload, let's open up the console. Okay, let's try to upload an image. Alright, so something's not right. Let's see. Alright, so if you check the uploads folder, it's empty. So I think there's something wrong with our PHP. Alright, so there is one big problem here, and that is that this move uploaded files function should be move upload file singular. Okay, so let's try that out. Alright, now the progress bar not working and the check mark not working have to do with our JavaScript in our images. So I'm not worried about that now. I just want to make sure. Alright, so it's still not uploading. And this str lower should be str2 lower, string 2 lower. So let's try that. Alright, so there's the image. It is getting uploaded. That's very good. Alright, so we want this progress bar and this check image to show up. So let's just check the JavaScript. Let's check the images actually. So images, alright, so blue line and check. I think we have a CSS issue for the progress bar. Holder is 12 pixels height. For the actual progress class, let's put a height of 100%. Okay, so let's try that. That'll just give it that blue div. Whoop. Alright, so the progress bar is basically blue whenever you upload it. It's supposed to kind of go up. So, oh, I actually did this wrong. This bottom shouldn't be here, and width of progress should be 0. So I meant to actually put this like that. Alright. Alright, so now you can see the progress bar goes up when we upload it. What's still not showing is the check mark. A little check mark should show after we upload it. Done. And actually it should be the uploaded class. Position absolute, top left 0, height 100%, width, background, check PNG, no repeat, center. So this all looks good. It's displayed as none. Alright, so the issue here is that the uploaded div, the div with the class of uploaded, has the check mark which hovers over the image, and it's set to display none, and nowhere in our CSS have we changed it to actually show. Alright, so what we're going to do is put in another CSS element here, and we're going to say pickbox dot preview dot done dot uploaded. Okay, so only when the actual preview is done will we display the uploaded class. So here we're just going to say display block. Alright, and let's give that a shot. Alright, so it's still not showing. Let me just take a look at it. Div class preview done. Actually, it doesn't look like we have the uploaded class. Let's go look in that template variable. Okay. Alright, so we did forget it. We don't have the uploaded class here. So right here, right before the image, we want to just add a div with the class of uploaded. I'm sorry, not a div, a span. And we're also going to close that. Alright, so that now gives us that uploaded class. So let's reload. Alright, there we go. So now we have the check. You can see when we upload it, gives us that nice overlay. And if we go ahead and try to, let's upload a file that's not an image, we get this pop-up that says it's not an image. Alright, so I mean, all we've uploaded is this one image, and the way we have it, it's not going to create doubles of the same image, so you can see we only have it once. Let's try it with one more image. Let's see. Oh, we have some images. Alright, so let's go to the downloads. Alright, so let's try this. Whoops. Okay, so let's drag in a couple images. Alright, so now if we go to our uploads folder, you can see that they've been uploaded. One of them was named images, just like the other one, so it overrid it and put the new image there. It's not going to give us two that say images. And if you wanted to extend the code to maybe change it, maybe have, I don't know, the date or something in the title, then you could do that as well. But that's beyond the scope of this tutorial. So that's our image loader. I hope you enjoyed this chapter, and I look forward to the next.